In today's series, we are going to touch on video game characters born in November. Those are rascals. We have a special person who's born in November. Give it out to my Sagittarius and Scorpio friends. And our pick for today is Ann Takamaki from Persona 5. They call her Panther. Confident, fierce, untouchable. But behind the latex and the fire, there's a girl trying to take back her own story. Today, we're diving into the mind of Ann Takamaki, the model, the fighter, and the heart of the Phantom of Thieves. This is a story about guilt, boundaries, and the courage it takes to be seen without being consumed. So Anne uses beauty as armor. Anne's life is defined by perception, how she's seen, not who she is. At Sunjin Academy, she's exoticized, ridiculed, and isolated because of her mixed heritage. She's half American and half Japanese. And you know how they get down in Japan, y'all. They don't like foreigners, really. I've been there, so I can say that. To most of her classmates, she's not Anne. She's a projection. Like many who have been objectified, you learn to perform confidence. The smiles, the poses, they become armor, you know? That's what people know you for. If you don't meet those expectations, people look at you like, what's wrong with you? You're so pretty because another chain she can't see. Anne's real breaking point isn't humiliation. It's witnessing abuse. Kamoshida weaponizes control, manipulating, shaming, and exploiting others to feed his ego. Anne's pain isn't just personal, it's empathetic trauma. When Shiho, her closest friend, attempts suicide, Anne's guilt fuses with rage, and that's when her persona awakens. Carmen, the symbol of rebellion through seduction, burns the illusion that beauty must mean submission. That's not a mask, that's reclamation. You know, Carmen, that famous song, no, that's Lola. But, you know, Carmen's supposed to be this, you know, every time I think of Carmen, I think of like Carmen San Diego. Yeah, remember that? Where in the world is Carmen? I used to love that show as a kid, but I think I was too young to really understand what was going on in that show. But I still love to watch it and see that like homegirl in that trench coat and that hat. I loved her. Even though she was the villain. For some reason, that bad bitch was the villain, but she was like they should they probably did make a video game about her, but I wish there was maybe a good video game about her. That would be cool. But yeah, she was a badass bitch. Like, you know, she stole, right? And you could never catch her. But she always outsmarted the people. And you have to play games on the show. All right, I'm going off on a rant. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's when I think of Carmen, I think of her. You know, strong, and she wore the red too. She wore the red. So and that's what Anne, and she was beautiful. Carmen was beautiful. And that's what Anne. You could be beautiful, powerful, and still you could be beautiful and still be powerful. You don't have to like submit to whatever thing you are expected to submit to. You're not just an object for the pleasure of someone's eyes, basically. If a behavioral therapist were to analyze Anne, they describe her as a case of compassion fatigue with survivor's guilt. She overextends herself emotionally, always trying to be strong because she believes that if she's not helping someone, she's failing them. This creates what therapists call a self-sacrificial behavior loop. She sees someone in pain, she takes responsibility. When she can't fix it, she blames herself. Anne doesn't fight villains, she fights helplessness. In the Jungian archetypes, Anne embodies the lover, not in romance per se, but in devotion. She craves connection, empathy, warmth, and yet she's trapped between vulnerability and performance. Like, she wants the real deal, but she knows people are fawning over her just because she's hot. Her shadow side, the rebel, manifests through Panther, seductive confidence that flips objectification into agency. She weaponizes the very thing that once diminished her. But rebellion alone isn't healing, it's just survival in style. Basically, Anne's persona is what happens when self-respect gets tired of being polite. As her story unfolds, Anne develops what therapy calls assertive compassion, empathy, but with boundaries. She learns that caring doesn't mean carrying everyone's pain. Instead of suppressing her emotions, she begins to express them healthily, even angrily when needed, and starts therapy in practice, if not in name, recognizing triggers, setting limits, and replacing guilt with empathy that includes herself. It's not about being kind to others, it's about remembering to be kind to herself. And how many of us can relate to that? Carmen isn't random either. She's named after the femme fatale from Bizet's opera, a woman condemned for her independence, punished for her freedom. But unlike the original Carmen, Anne's story doesn't end in tragedy. Her persona evolves, not into something prettier, but stronger. She redefines beauty as ownership. When she cracks that whip, it's not vengeance.
It's therapy.
Ann Takamaki isn't the pretty one. She's the girl who learned that empathy without self-respect is self-destruction. She embodies what psychologists call resilient identity formation, reclaiming who she is after years of being told who to be. Underneath the lipstick and the laughter, Anne's rebellion isn't loud, it's compassionate. Ann Takamaki teaches that kindness isn't weakness, it's courage in disguise. She also reminds us that beauty is not for others to interpret, it's for the self to define. You don't know me anymore. Ann Takamaki. Thank you for tuning in. I'm continuing November birthday characters in video games, so I'm gonna get a new one for you as ASAP before November ends. It's oh my god, November is going so fast. I feel like it was just Halloween, but I digress. Till next time, this is Character Psychology, where rebellion meets reflection.